Hello, welcome to another edition of Congregation Agudath Shalom's This Week in Jewish History. Much has been written and said about the tragic events of the First Crusade, which struck the major Jewish communities of Germany at the end of the 11th century. But today, I'd like us to look at another very sad chapter in medieval Jewish history, that of the Third Crusade, which mostly affected the Jewish communities of England. This week marks the anniversary of the ascendancy of Gregory VIII as Pope. Gregory only served as Pope for approximately 2 months, but sadly, during that short time, he managed to call upon Christians to embark on another crusade, of course, with the intent of liberating the Holy Land from the hands of the Muslims. With the Pope's call in 1187, Richard the Lionhearted, King of England, took it upon himself to lead the crusade. And as with other crusades, the Christian soldiers began to take their wrath out upon the Jewish communities they encountered on their way to the Holy Land. In this case, they marched through England, attacking Jewish communities along the way. The Crusaders marched through the English countryside, attacking and massacring communities mainly in the central east portion of England, including the Jewish communities of Norwich, as well as that in Stamford, the English town from which our own city gets its name. The most notorious massacre, however, occurred in the northern English town of York. The Jews of the town took refuge in one of the local castles. Realizing that they were going to be slaughtered, one of the local rabbis ruled that the Jews in the castle should kill themselves rather than give themselves up to the massacring crusaders. This episode is another example of a very controversial medieval Jewish legal question of whether one may kill themselves rather than be murdered. The Crusaders eventually made their way to the Holy Land, capturing the northern port city of Akko. King Richard's forces were not successful in capturing their main target, Jerusalem. They, however, came to an agreement with the Muslim rulers that while the Muslims would retain control over the city, the Muslims would give free access to Christian pilgrims to their holy sites. And as with other crusades, medieval Christian religious zeal was not saved for their Muslim rivals, but was first led out against major Jewish communities in their vicinity. To this day, the massacres of the Third Crusade, particularly the massacre at York, is commemorated by some English Jewish communities on the 9th of Av every year, with the recitation of a special kina, an elegy composed in its wake. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.